Hey everyone, this is Maliha from the site Blogger, and today I will show you how I edit a blog post. Now, this is something that I have received emails about. People have sent me emails and left comments about how I go about editing a blog post. Now, I actually do this as a service. I provide this service of editing. And this blog post that I have right in front of me right now, it's a Google Doc from a client, and I'm sharing this editing video with her permission. Now, I'm not going to share who my client is. This is going to be an anonymous editing, but this is from an actual client. And what I'm going to do is I will share with you how I go about editing a blog post, not just for my clients, but I follow the same process when I'm editing my own blog posts. And the goal here is to give you a starting point for editing blog posts, whether you're editing your own writing or if, like me, you are thinking about providing editing services. Now, I don't have professional editing, proofreading, copy editing, or line editing experience. Some people actually go to school and get degrees for that stuff. Um, but what I'm trying to do here is basically, I'm bringing my 5+ years of blogging, being able to build an audience, build an email list, get my blog posts show up on Google's search result pages. So I'm bringing all of that expertise to edit my clients and my own blog posts. Now, provided that all of that information, the way I go about editing, before I show you, before I live edit this article, this blog post, I just want to make sure that you understand a few things about my editing. Um, I'm not a stickler for, small things like one small spelling error or one, comma, or, whether there should be a comma or whether there should be a semicolon. Um, Things like that are not all that important to me because at the end of the day, we are writers, we're not artificial intelligence. So sometimes a mistake here or a mistake there actually makes us look more, it tells the readers that, hey, there's an actual person, an actual human being behind these stories. So unless your mistakes are making the reading experience really bad, or your mistakes are causing people to misunderstand what you're writing or your message, I don't really care too much about the little details. What I do edit when I'm editing, the things that I focus on are, okay, so is it a good title? Is the writing consistent? Is the writing in general, the type of writing that people want to read online? Is the formatting, the paragraph lengths, the sentence length, the structuring of the blog post, the way people create blocks of different types of information within a same blog post. All of those things are more important than the little spelling error here or a missing comma over there. Um, as long as the meaning of their message doesn't change. So with that in mind, this is again, this is from a client. So um, what I'm gonna do is I will not only show you how I edit, I will also kind of give you little bits and pieces of tips as I go about editing this piece in the next, I don't know, I'm assuming at least 30 minutes or so. I will just show you, the things that you can do um, if you're trying to, or if you're thinking about providing editing services for your clients, how to go about starting the process. And again, you don't have to have a lot of, professional background in editing if you're thinking about giving the service to someone. But I do recommend that you understand, you have a better understanding, you have a good understanding and a good handle of online writing. So before you start providing other people a service, make sure that you understand the service yourself, the service that you're providing. How to make, at the end of the day, for me at least, blog editing service is not about the little things. I know I'm kind of repeating myself, but I want to help my clients be able to appeal to their readers, be able to um, carve out a space in the minds of their readers as someone who speaks from experience and speaks with authority. So those are more important than the little spelling mistakes and comma errors and all that stuff. And also, obviously, SEO is super important. So that is also something that I look at. Now, all of people come to me from all different types of backgrounds. Some people have very formal writing, so I need to spend more time with them, and sometimes I even, spend time with them one on one over phone call or Zoom call or whatever, just to kind of walk them through, how to make their writing more user friendly and reader friendly online. Sometimes people come with, professional writing backgrounds, which is very different from online writing. Sometimes clients don't have any idea about SEO, and sometimes they have like blocks of text, walls of text, and they don't understand how formatting for online writing works. So all these different things play into my editing process. Now, the article that I chose to live edit in this video is a good, um, a balanced article that I think it's the client, when she submitted her article, it was already pretty good, with some things that I think they could be fixed, they could be made better. So I picked this one because it kind of gives you an idea what to look for, without me having to spend too much time fixing too many things. I will fix some things need to be fixed here, so you will get a bigger picture of what things to look out for when you're editing, whether it's for your client or for your own blog posts. All right, so with that said, let's get started. And I have a Google Doc here. I used to prefer Microsoft Word, and I still prefer Microsoft Word for my own writing. But as far as editing blog posts are concerned, I have started to ask my clients that they send me Google Docs, but because it's more accessible, everyone has it, it's free, and the editing process is super simple with a Google Doc. So the first thing I want to do when editing a client's um, blog post on a Google Doc, I go on top here. And here's the other thing. If you're providing this service, ask your clients to share their Google Doc with editing feature turned on. Um, a rookie mistake I did was I made a copy on my own Google account for a client when I first started doing this, and I made all these comments, and turns out that my client, I have to like share the document, and it was just real pain, going back and forth two different things. So it's just better that my client gives me I directly edit the document my client shares with me with their editing turned on. I also ask them that they send me a copy. They create a copy on their end, and then they share that with me so that they can retain the original version if they want to do something with that later on. All right, so once I have the Google Doc from my client, the first thing I want to do is go up here where it says editing, and then click suggesting. What suggesting does is whenever I make any change to this document, that automatically creates a comment for my client to see exactly what I've changed or what I'm recommending. All right, with suggesting turned on, let's start editing. Now, the first thing is anatomy of a high converting landing page. Um, that's a good title in the sense that I know exactly what to expect. I understand right away that this blog post is going to be about landing pages, and the blogger is going to talk about high converting, or the kind of landing page that are that that actually gets the job done. Um, so right away, it's a good title from that angle. But I think from my years of experience as a blogger and someone who understands how search engines work, I think the title can be better. But I don't change the title. It's not the first thing I do because I need to first see exactly what the blog post is about so I can write a better title. So it's a mental note that I make to myself that okay, I'm gonna have to come back to the title, and I will most likely change the title, make it better. It's already a good title, but it can be better. It's not a bad title. Sometimes I come across titles that are really bad that doesn't help anyone understand anything. But from that perspective, this is a good title. I already know what this blogger is going to talk about, so that's good. Um, so let's start reading the introduction. And here's another thing. I will be going back and forth because that's just how I edit. Some people may edit like, okay, I'm gonna look for this specific thing and then that specific thing, in iterations of um, editing steps. But for me, I kind of tend to do everything together. So this might feel a little confusing if you're following this video because I'm doing everything at the same time simultaneously and going back and forth all the time. Um, but that's just how I do things. But I have an accompanying blog post where I talk about the different things to look for. So after you have seen this video, or even before watching watching the rest of this video, you might want to go and check out the blog post first, or after watching the video, whichever you prefer. I will link to the blog post in the description of this video, or you may have even come to this video following the blog post first, so who knows. Anyway, so with that out of the way, let's start reading. Feeling frustrated with an underperforming landing page that lacks conversions? Do you find yourself yearning for a proven formula that guarantees exceptional results? Well, you're in luck today. You're in luck because today we are diving into the art of creating a high converting landing page. In this comprehensive guide, I'll provide you with the exact steps and live examples to help you build landing pages that captivate your audience and skyrocket your conversions. That's a good introduction. The only thing I think I want to change is I want to break it up because that's a lot of text. It's a long paragraph to be the first paragraph of a blog post. I personally prefer, and I have learned this from other bloggers who have been blogging for a long time and SEO experts, that it's better for you to have shorter paragraphs, especially towards the beginning of your blog post. So feeling frustrated with an underperforming landing page that lacks conversion, that can be its standalone paragraph. So I will just create a new line here. Also, this is a good first line because it has the seed keyword, which is landing page. Now, a comment about seed keywords. So there are a couple of different types of keywords that you may have heard about. One of them is a long tail keyword, which is a long paragraph that has your main keyword in it. So it can be something like how to build a landing page or how to design a landing page. Something like that would be a long tail keyword. They used to be super popular back in the days, but now with search engines becoming smarter and smarter every day, you don't have to concern yourself too much about long tail keywords because search engines can pick up context from the entire text. So what I do want, I mean, it's still important. It's just not as important as they used to be in my experience. That said, seed keywords are super important, and right away I can understand that this person is talking about landing pages. So their seed keyword, or the main topic is the seed keyword, basically, is landing page. So I want to make sure that bloggers use their seed keywords in several places, in their landing page, in their titles, in their first sentence or first paragraph at least. Um, in the conclusion, and also throughout the blog post in the body, and specifically in headers and subheaders. So with that said, feeling frustrated with an underperforming landing page that lacks conversion, that's a good first line because it has the seed keyword. So I don't have to change anything over there. Now, do you find yourself yearning for a proven formula that guarantees exceptional results? That can also be its own paragraph. And then, well, you're in luck because today we're diving into the art of creating a high converting landing page. In this comprehensive guide, I'll provide you with the exact steps and live examples. I don't think live is necessary here. Live examples to help you build landing pages that captivate your audience and skyrocket your conversion. Now, one fun thing, when I picked this live and I actually hit backspace on my keyboard to get rid of it, but what Google Docs did, because I have suggestions turned on, instead of just deleting it, it just crossed out, so that my client knows exactly what I did here. And as I do anything like adding a new paragraph, deleting a word or anything, it's automatically adding comments here, as you see, on the right side of the document, right over here. So these comments. So that's actually kind of nice, and I just like how simple it is. I don't have to do anything. Google Docs is just automatically doing this for me, which makes the editing process very simplified and easy for me and my clients. All right, so next paragraph. But that's not all. By the end of this article, I'll reveal the number one mistake that plagues even the most well-intentioned marketers when it comes to crafting landing pages. It's a game changer and you won't want to miss it. So grab a cup of your favorite beverage, find a cozy spot, and get ready to revolutionize your approach to landing page design. Let's dive in. All right. Right away, after reading this introduction, I'm thinking a couple of things. The one thing I like is that this person, this blogger, is extremely clear about what this blog post is about. Now, I haven't gone through the entire blog post yet, so I don't know whether she's going to keep her promise through, in the rest of the blog post. But from what I see in the introduction, she's clear about what the reader should expect. That this article is about. Designing a landing page, and this article is also about she promises that she's going to talk about a mistake, the number one mistake that people tend to make in landing pages, so that's all good. The only thing missing, so there are two things that I always tell my writing. So I also do writing workshops and coaching. So when I talk to my workshop students or clients one-on-one, I always tell them that their introduction should do a couple of things. First, it should tell readers what to expect exactly so that they know before having to read the entire blog post, they should know what to expect. That's one thing, and it turns out that this blogger has done it already, and they have so far done a good job of it. The other thing that a blogger needs to establish in their introduction is their authority. Like, why should readers read their perspective on a certain topic? What are their qualifications? Now, by qualifications, I don't mean that you have to, say that, oh, I have a degree in this and that. No, but something um, has to make sense for readers to think that, okay, this person knows what they're talking about. So that is something you have to establish in the introduction towards the beginning of a blog post, your authority. And you can do that in several different ways. You can do that from experience. So for me, for example, often I write about blogging. And I don't have a degree in blogging. I don't have a degree in digital marketing. I don't have a degree in e-commerce or whatever, I'm writing about. Most of the things that I write about comes from my experience. So I speak from my experience. My experience is my um, is at the core of my expertise, and that helps establish my authority. So you can establish your authority from your own experience, or you can share data. You can say that, okay, I know this and that because data has shown, and then you kind of link to your source and things like that. So something has to make sense to your readers why they're reading a particular blog post from you. So as a blogger, you have to establish your authority towards the beginning of a blog post. Now you can probably bypass that. If you're already a huge brand, for example, like when I read a blog post from a company like SEM Rush or Ahrefs or I don't know, a blog that has been around for a long time, or a company that's name is, in everyone's lips, everybody knows that. In those cases, you can make an exception because your brand is your authority, basically. But for a lot of brand new blogger, or even not brand new, but intermediate bloggers. Now, I have been blogging for a long time, but I still feel like I have to establish my authority before I can jump into the topic. Like, I have to tell my readers why they should hear from me, right? So in this case, in this introduction, I don't see this blogger establishing their authority anywhere. So I'll just make a quick comment here, um, and just say, um, please add um, a little bit about why you're the right person to talk about this topic. Either share your experience or share data to prove your authority in this subject. Okay. All right. So I have added a comment here, and when my client comes here, she will see this comment and she will know exactly what I'm talking about. And I added this square parentheses, square brackets, so that just to grab her attention, basically. All right. Now let's get to the next section. So it looks like my client is starting a new section. So it's a header. She's using header 2 for this, which is perfectly all right, which is great. And then, now, before we dive into the individual sections, we need to get one thing out of the way. You see, a landing page has a specific purpose. Okay, so before we dive into the individual sections, I kind of want to change how this paragraph starts, because it kind of sounds like the blogger is kind of assuming that the reader knows that she's going to talk about sections. We haven't seen anything about sections in the introduction or anything in the text that has come before. So it can be a little disorienting for the reader to suddenly see now before we dive into individual sections. So something like, okay, since it's not a new sentence, before needs to be small b. Okay, now before we dive into the rest of the blog post, maybe a better option, the rest of the blog post, we need to get one thing out of the way. All right, let's do a new line here because it's too long of a paragraph. You see, a landing page has a specific purpose, and that is to capture leads. Your main goal with a landing page, that can be a new line. Your main goal with a landing page is to get a potential client's information so you can give them a call, book an appointment, give a quote, etc. Landing pages are typical. Okay, this can be a new paragraph. Landing pages are typically part of a lead generation funnel strategy where the sole purpose is to get leads. They can also function as a standalone website. Okay. All right, that looks good. Next, typically your landing pages, such as car body shops, okay, typically your local businesses, sorry, I read that wrong. Typically your local businesses such as car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, and businesses that do not fall under the category of coaching programs or e-com. So whenever you are saying something, saying a word for the first time, spell it out. Don't use an abbreviation or anything when it first appears. So it should be commerce. All right. E-commerce will be the ones using landing pages. Okay, let's reread that. Typically, your local businesses such as car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, and businesses that do not fall under the category of coaching programs or e-commerce will be the ones using landing pages. So with that in mind, let's break it down step by step so you can make sure your landing page is top notch. All right, so here's the thing. This paragraph is incorrect because all businesses that have like some kind of presence online use landing pages. So the blogger here is suggesting that only businesses like car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, that type of sounds like brick and mortar shops have landing pages, and that digital service providers like coaching programs, e-commerce, they do not use landing pages. That's the meaning I'm getting out of this paragraph, and that is incorrect because I offer coaching programs. I have an e-commerce shop. I have online courses and blah blah blah, and I use landing pages all the time. So landing pages are not limited to brick and mortar shops. Everybody uses landing pages. So this is confusing, this paragraph here. So I'm going to get rid of it altogether because um, that doesn't help to establish this blogger's authority because it's incorrect information. So what I'm gonna do, because it kind of sounds like this blogger, and also because I've actually read the whole thing before I started this video, so I don't spend too much time doing this thing. So I know that this blogger is going to talk about landing pages that are specifically for businesses like car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, and etc. etc. And not necessarily for digital, service providers and digital businesses or businesses that are online, basically. So it's a good thing to make sure that readers understand that this blog post is not for people that have an online business, but mostly for people who have physical presence with their business, like an actual shop or things like that. So instead of saying something like, typically your local businesses, such as body shops, doctor's office, spas, and businesses, typically your local, okay, I'm getting confused again. Typically your local businesses, such as car body shops, doctor's offices, spas, and businesses that do not fall under the category of coaching programs or e-commerce will be the ones using landing pages. So that is incorrect. Instead, what I can say is this actually this should be in the introduction. So I'm going to add this in the introduction because readers need to know what they can expect to learn in the introduction. Like, remember I was saying earlier that your introduction should establish a couple of things. One, your authority, yes, but two, what readers should expect. They shouldn't have to read halfway through your blog post to know exactly whether or not the blog post is right for them. So right away, if this blogger is focusing on local businesses, then they should clarify that in the introduction. And to do that, I can say something like typically local. Okay, so I will just edit this out, something like, okay, let's see. This blog post will focus on, okay, that would be a better way to approach it, I think. This blog post will focus on creating landing pages for local businesses such as car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, and okay, this blog post will focus on creating landing pages for local businesses such as car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, and not businesses that and not online businesses, and not online, uh, not specifically online businesses such as coaching programs, e-commerce, online courses, etc. Or instead of e-commerce, maybe digital products. Okay, this blog post will focus on creating landing pages for local businesses such as car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, etc., and not specifically online businesses that focus on coaching programs, digital products, that focus on selling coaching programs, digital products, online courses, etc. And maybe make the not bold, and oops, sorry, didn't try to do that. And not specifically online businesses that focus on selling coaching programs, digital products, online courses, etc. This blog post will focus on creating landing pages for local businesses. Okay, now that's a better paragraph, I think. And also the positioning is a little off. I think I should add it here. All right. That looks like a better place to add that paragraph. And also I reworded the paragraph. So instead of saying, because earlier the original paragraph that this blogger had written kind of sounded like they were saying people with online coaching programs or e-commerce do not use landing pages. That's incorrect. People of all types of businesses with any online presence or a website use landing pages. So I corrected that information and also moved that paragraph up top so that readers know exactly what's going on. Right away, if someone landed on this blog post hoping to create a landing page for their coaching program, then they don't have to read all the way to their second section to know that it's not for them. And also the original paragraph would have confused them because this coach probably would have thought, oh, so I don't need a landing page. So no, you don't want to confuse people. You want to give them accurate information the proper way in the right place. So adding that paragraph right at the beginning of the blog post and also correcting and rewording to make sure that it's not excluding anyone but giving people the right information, the right words, is a better way to go about this. All right, so the new paragraph is, this blog post will focus on creating landing pages for local businesses such as car body shops, doctors' offices, spas, etc., and not specifically online businesses that focus on, actually, specifically is not needed here. and not online businesses that focus on selling coaching programs, digital products, online courses, etc. Okay, that's a much better paragraph and better positioning and accurate information. Okay, so let's go to the next section. So looks like this blogger is starting a new section here, or a new chapter. So I tend to say section whenever I go to a new header. Um, so it might sound a little confusing because the author here, the blogger here, is also using section as a way to describe the different section of a landing page. So let's call them chapter for this video. So the blogger is starting a new chapter with this header: landing page section 1, logo, header, location, phone, lead capture. Okay. Section 1 of your landing page should include the following: logo, header, location, phone number. I actually want to spell out number instead of using a pound sign. Phone number, lead capture. Okay. This will be the most specific section of the landing page, and you need to include everything listed. I'm gonna pull up a local dental office that I found just by doing a Google search. I like their landing page, and we will use this as our first example while discussing section 1. Okay. Your logo or company name should be one of the first things a person sees when they view your page. You want to make sure your potential client knows what company's page they have landed on. In our example, the logo and company name, Refined Dental, is one of the first things that I see on this page. All right. Along the top of the logo, I immediately want to see. So here's one small comment. Gonna, wanna are great if they're conversational. I use them when I talk all the time, especially gonna, not so much wanna, but gonna is something I say all the time. And if you want a conversational style going for your blog post, that's perfectly fine. And it's a personal choice. I personally like to limit how many times I say gonna, wanna, etc. And even when I say those things, I only maybe say once or twice. If I say a lot of gonna, wanna, it just starts sounding a little too conversational in my perspective. But then again, like I said, it's entirely a personal choice, a personal decision. But because I'm the one who's editing, I'm going to um, you know, make whatever edit I think is necessary. But I will also add a little comment that um, conversational styles are great, but I personally think they should be limited to only a few um, uses, and only a few uses, and write want to or going to in some cases. Okay. I immediately want to see the location so people will know what area you serve and a phone number to contact you. Refined Dental has both of those listed right at the top. All right. Now let's talk about the header. The header should, okay, I'm gonna add a new line here. The header should grab attention with a value proposition that's short, bold, and to the point. Think of it as a headline that hooks your audience in. Now the header here is okay, I feel like the blogger is using the word now a little too many times. We don't need to use that so many times. So actually, the header here isn't the best example of this. It's not as short and to the point as I would like to see, but they do have a value proposition listed. Discover the impact that exceptional personalized dental care can have on your life. With comprehensive services and a team that puts your needs and wants first, you can achieve the healthy, beautiful smile that you deserve at our Morganton office. All right. I'm going to use a new line here. I will show you a second example with a better header shortly. All right, the header, I feel like this is a super long paragraph, so I want to break it up even farther. The header should grab attention with a value proposition that's short, bold, and to the point. Think of a headline. Think of it as a headline that hooks your audience in. A new line here. The header here is in the best example, blah blah blah. Okay, that looks better. Now, okay, now again, I'm gonna get rid of it and say sorry. Okay. The last and most important element to include in this section is a call to action, CTA. Ideally, you want this to be close to the very top, below the header, or both. New line. As you can see, Refined Dental. Okay, Refined Dental is a name, so capitalize those letters, the first letters. As you can see, Refined Dental has a Book an Appointment CTA at the very top and a Book Now CTA below the header. You want to make these CTAs easily accessible so it's not hard at all for the potential client to give you their information. Okay, sounds good. Okay, let's take a look at a second example for comparison that I found by Googling real estate in my area. All right, new line. We have the property Cartwheel logo is in the top left, is unnecessary here. And the phone number at the top. However, their service area isn't 100% clear. I do see the word virtual. I do see is not necessary. I see the word virtual, but are they buying homes in the USA, Canada, or worldwide? I would like to see that distinction made. New line. I'm sure we could scroll down and find it. I'm sure we could scroll down and find out maybe. But ideally, I would has apostrophe here, but ideally I would like to see this in section 1. Their header is short. Okay, another new line. Their header is short, sweet, to the point. Okay, so some commas are necessary. The header. So here's the thing. Even though I'm not a stickler for commas and whatnot, but sometimes when a sentence doesn't sound right, then you want to make sure that yes, you are adding commas and making necessary changes to make the sentence better. So their header is short, sweet, comma, and to the point. Okay, I like it. And they have a form submission for a fair cash offer right below the header. All right. Now, this site is making the number one mistake that a lot of people make on their landing page. Take a close look, make your guesses, and I'll reveal what that mistake is at the end of this blog post. All right, I like this paragraph a lot because not everyone does it, but this blogger has done it. This blogger thought of it, so that's really good. So here's the thing. Readers love it when, whether they know it or not, but they love it when you make them do things. So our blogger here, my client here, is saying, now, this site is making the number one mistake that a lot of people make on their landing page. Take a close look, make your guesses, and I'll reveal what that mistake is at the bottom of this blog post, at the end of this blog post. Basically, she's giving them homework, like, hey, go to that landing page, take a close look, try to guess what that number one mistake is that I've been talking about. And, I'm going to talk about it at the end of this blog post, but try to take a guess. So she's basically, getting them to do something. And when you can engage readers like that, they love it, whether they know it or not, and they tend to, stick around and read the rest of the blog post. So that's a really good trick right there. All right, let's go to the next chapter. It looks like another header, section 2, services, why it's great, how it works. All right. Okay, so let's move on to section 2. This is our services description. Why it's great and optional how it works section. We don't need all of that. Because section 1, here's the thing. You want to be consistent in your writing style. Don't say one thing. So when we are talking about section 1 of a landing page, we didn't talk about logo, header, location, phone, lead capture, why it works, why it's great. We didn't say that there. So why are we saying it here? So stay consistent. In fact, we don't even need that in the heading here. Let's get rid of it. Section 2 services. Okay, that's great. Coming back up, I see that this header here says landing page section 1, logo header, etc., etc. Landing page section 1 is not needed, again, because of consistency. Section 1, logo header, location, phone, lead capture. Section 2, services. All right. Now for this one, let's get rid of all of that and just say, okay, so let's move on to section 2. This is your services description. All right. This is where you're gonna outline. Again, I feel like I want to reduce some of the gonna wanna in this blog post. Again, it's a very personal thing. But I prefer it that way, and since I'm the one editing it, I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. This is where you're going to outline the features and benefits of your product or service. Be sure to focus on the benefits and the solutions you provide. You're gonna address, okay, so there's a gonna again, but because we changed the first gonna to going to, I'm okay with the second gonna. Here's the one other tip when you're editing. Look out for repeating words or very similar words within close proximity. So if a certain word appears multiple times within like the within 3, 4, 5 lines or something, try to think of a different way to say it or a synonym for it or something like that. So in this case, this is a good example. So this is where you're gonna, the first version, the original version was, this is where you're gonna outline the features and benefits of your product and product or service. Be sure to focus on the benefits of, and the solutions you provide. You're gonna address again. So too many gonnas is not good for a good reading experience. So I changed the first one to going to, but I'm going to keep the second gonna as gonna because that's fine. It works there. All right. You're gonna address the problems your target audience needs to be solved and answer objections in the form of benefits. Okay, I feel like this sentence is a little mouthful and not very clear. You're gonna address the problems your target audience needs solving, maybe needs solving, and answer objections in the form of benefits. Answer objections. That doesn't sound right. You're gonna address the problems your target audience needs solving and address pain points, address their pain points in the form of benefits. Okay, that sounds better, and I think I understand what the blogger was going for. Basically, make the bad stuff look like good. Something like that. So you're going to address the problems your target audience needs solving and address their pain points in the form of benefits. All right, that sounds much better. And here's a little secret sauce. Here's a little secret is better, I think. The sauce is not needed. Here's a little secret. Integrate storytelling if you can. Take your visitors on an emotional roller coaster and make them feel something. Okay? Okay, that looks good. Okay, let's take a look at our dental company. They have the services listed. Looks like they also offer a membership plan. And look at that statement. And looks like they also offer a membership plan. And look at, okay, remember proximity? So they're saying looks like they also offer a membership plan, comma, and look at that statement. So too many look in one sentence, too close together. So say something like, okay, let's take a look at three looks actually. Let's take a look at their dental company. They have a services listed. Looks like they offer a membership plan, and look at their statement. So three looks in one paragraph within like 3.5 lines. So that's too many looks and too close a proximity. So um, let's just say, okay, how can I write it better? Maybe something like, let's take a look at our dental company. Let's take a look at our dental company. They have the services listed. Looks like they also offer is not necessary. They offer. It doesn't look like they offer. They actually offer. So say something like, they also offer a membership. They have the services listed. They also offer a membership plan. Membership plan. Full stop. Here's their statement. Here's their statement. Free yourself from the restrictions of dental insurance at Refine Dental. This full stop is not needed. This is going to evoke, I'm going to make it going to. This is going to evoke some feelings in potential customers. That makes for a better sentence, I think. All right. Now, flip over to our property website. Looks like they have an explainer video and then they detail their process. Our goal, make your life easier, period. Looks like this one does it. Okay, too many looks like, looks. I mean, when you say looks like, it kind of, when something is apparent, when something is obvious, you don't have to say looks like. It makes you sound like you're not confident. So just say it. It doesn't look like it. It is like this. So get rid of looks like, and just say, this one does a good job of invoking feelings and painting a picture that triggers emotion. Okay. All right. Section 3, Focused CTA. New chapter. Now, let's move on to section 3. I'm going to get rid of the pound sign because, again, consistency, because previously this blogger didn't use, actually she used pound sign here, so I'm going to remove that too. But they didn't use the pound sign in the first section 1. So also there are no pound signs in the headers. So I'm just going to get rid of the pound sign altogether. All right, now let's move on to section 3, the focused call to action CTA. Once you have painted new line, once you have painted the full picture, it's time to present a clear and compelling call to action. Guide your visitors, new line. Guide your visitors to take that desired action, whether it's signing up for a free trial, scheduling an appointment, or requesting a quote. New line. Just remember, keep it simple, focused, and avoid overwhelming them with too many options. Sounds good? Now, if you scroll down on the dental site, you can see a large section to schedule, small s, schedule your visit. There's a form for a potential client to enter in their details. Done is not needed. That's all of that section. It's simple and focused. Okay, good job. And it's the same with our property page. You enter your contact info and then click to submit, and then okay, click the button that says click to submit your info and get an offer. That's it. Section 4, social proof testimonials. Now let's talk about section 4. No pound. New line. People trust social proof, so make sure to showcase testimonials from satisfied customers. It adds credibility and builds trust. Google reviews are especially important for local companies. Let's make that a new line. Either screenshot and add them, or connect a plugin so they will be visible on your page. All right. Both our dentist and property pages have social proof displayed proudly towards the bottom of their pages. All right. Okay, looks like our blogger has ended that chapter over there, and it's now they're starting a whole new chapter. Now, here's something I want to do. Let's see. I want to. So here's the thing. After reading reading through these different chapters, it's starting to feel like these different sections, the section 1, section 2, section 3, and section 4 of landing pages, they actually need to be, instead of they being their own separate sections, they need to be one section but separated by subheaders. So for example, this blogger has made this a header, section 1, logo, header, location, phone, lead capture. This is a main header. And then section 2 is also a main header. And then section 3 is again a main header. And then section 4 is a main header. And then they're introducing a new chapter, and that is also a main header. So all of these main headers can be kind of confusing. Now, if we didn't have this one, if we didn't have the number one mistake most people make with their landing page, we could have left it at that. But because we have a bit of a new concept within the same blog post, what I want to do is I want to bundle up all of these headers. I want to make these section headers into, instead of making them headers, I want to make them subheaders and then make them nested under a main header. So here's how I'm going to do it. I will scroll back up top, and right after this section where it says, what is the purpose of a landing page? We will come down here, and add a header. Something like, because I have read it now, I can say that okay, let's see, what is the best way to do that? Let's say I am, what should I say? What should I make the header be? The 4 essential sections of a landing page. Okay, that's better. All right. So the 4 essential sections of a landing page. This is going to be our main header. This is going to be the chapter. And then I can introduce what people can expect to learn in this section. I can say something like, the landing page has 4 essential parts that make them the landing page has 4 essential parts that that help drive the most conversions. These we'll call them. Actually, the landing page has 4 essential sections that help drive the most conversions. These sections are, and I'm going to list them with a numbered list. These sections are logo, header, location, phone, lead capture, make them all small, lead capture. Number 2 is, what was our section 2? Services. Section 3 was, I believe, focused CTA. And number 4 was, what was number 4? I think social proof testimonials. Let's see. Social proof testimonials, yes. Social proof testimonials. And then I can say something like, let's now look at the details of these different sections, how to best incorporate them into your landing page, and why they are great for conversion. All right. Okay, so basically I'm introducing these ideas. Okay. Now, because I made this a main header, which is a heading 2, these, the section 1, section 2 that I'm going to describe now from now on, I'm going to nest them under my section, under this main section, or this main chapter, or this main header. So I'm going to make them a subheader. And because we used heading 2 for a main header, for a subheader, I am going to use heading 3. All right, make it a little big, maybe give it a bigger font size to make it distinctive, like so. And then I will go ahead and let's see. All right, I'll go ahead and make the same thing for these ones as well. Make it heading 3, like so. Basically, the sections 1 through 4 will now be, instead of being main headers, they're going to be subheaders. So I will make them heading 3 because that's what I'm using for a subheader. And do the same for section 4, like so. All right, so this is what I did. If I hope you followed. I just added a new chapter and I nested these ones under the new chapter. Instead of making them their own headers, I made them subheaders and added it like so. And here's the other thing. This is actually good because from an SEO perspective, lists are great, and let's say that someone is looking for something like, what are the different parts of a landing page, or what are the different sections of a landing page? Then there are chances that Google might, assuming that Google starts ranking this blog post, And whenever you start writing a blog post, you always have to consider, how can I make Google pay attention to my blog post? So always think about SEO and the things that make your blog post search engine friendly. And adding lists like that is a good way to do that, to make your blog post more search engine friendly. And lists like that, and this kind of comes with, I don't know how to better explain it. It just comes with experience, comes with practice. These are actually good for featured snippets. So if you're not sure about what a featured snippet is, um, they're like there are four different types of featured snippets: list snippets, definitions, videos, and tables. So for most blog posts, lists are the most common featured snippet opportunity you might have. So I like to add them whenever possible. And if you're not sure what a featured snippet is, you can go to my blog post, the site blogger, and search for featured snippet here, and you will see a couple of blog posts that are dedicated to featured snippets. So um, optimize your blog post for Google's featured snippet. That's one of the blog posts where I have talked about featured snippet. Also, you can go and read the blog SEO for beginners. It's a complete SEO guide, as that I have written as simply as possible. It's super long. It's a 26-minute read, so it's a long blog post, but trust me, it's totally worth it. Especially if you're planning on optimizing your own blog post for SEO, or if you're trying to offer editing services, learning about SEO will be extremely helpful for you. Okay, so SEO is one of the reasons that I have added this section here. And it also helps with readability, because instead of making them their own section, making them subsections is useful in understanding what is going on. So basically I have bundled up sections 1 through 4 into their own chapter. That's what I did with this part of my editing. All right, once that is done, let's get to the next chapter. Number 1 mistake most people make with their landing page. All right. And there you have it. That is the anatomy of a high converting landing page. Now, as promised, I'm going to reveal the number 1 mistake most people make with their landing pages. Okay. Now here's the thing. The first line here, it feels it's in the wrong place. So, and there you have it. That is the anatomy of a high converting landing page. That sounds more like a concluding remark than the beginning of a new section. So I'm going to get rid of it and instead add it at the end of the previous section right here, because that sounds more like the ending of the last chapter that we just finished editing. So that's an apt concluding remark for the other chapter. And now let's start with the number 1 mistake. All right, now as promised, I'm going to get rid of now here and start with as promised. As promised, I'm going to reveal the number 1 mistake most people make with their landing pages. Okay, so drum roll. The number 1 mistake people make with their landing pages is putting their social media links on the page. All right, new line. The only place you should have social media is in your footer, and in some cases, you shouldn't have it on the page at all. Think about it. You have fought tooth and nail to get someone on the page. The last thing you want to do is direct them somewhere other than your services or lead capture. New line. Because we all know if we go to Facebook or Instagram, we are either getting distracted by puppies or food, and then all of a sudden an hour has passed and we have no clue why we were there in the first place. True story. Funny. That's a funny anecdote. So the moral of the story: social media links do not belong on the landing page. The moral of the story, the it's not really the moral of the story, the point of the story maybe. The point of the story is that social media links do not belong on a landing page. If people want to find your social media, they'll find it. They'll find it. Okay. All right, so that seems to be the end of the blog post. The only remark I have left now is that it needs a good conclusion. So I'm going to add a note for my blogger, my client, that please add a short conclusion that briefly summarizes what the blog post is about. Preferably end it with a call to action to subscribe to your newsletter and or leave a comment on the post with their questions and or take some other action, such as buy something from you, or visit some other blog post. Buying something from you or visiting other blog post. Okay. So I'll leave that comment for my blogger, and ideally for my clients, what they would do is when they read these comments, they would add and they would add a conclusion or something, and then they will show it to me again for a final look through for me. All right, so that is most of it. I would like to add a few other comments. For example, I may also add, make sure to add internal links to your post before publishing. All right. That's good for SEO, internal links basically, where you're linking to your own content from within your post. So that's something that helps with SEO. All right. So now we have gone through the entire blog post. We have done the editing. I've added some comment. I've asked my client to add something in the introduction to establish their authority. I have corrected this paragraph, rearranged it to add correct information because previously it was incorrect. And I have taken some of their main chapters, main headers, and made them into subheaders and subsections and nested them under a main section, basically, a main chapter. I've done that. That is also for SEO purposes and also readability purposes to make more sense of the blog post and add better structure to it. I have done some formatting changes. I have done some grammar error fixing, some spelling error fixing, some styling fixing for consistency. And I have added some comments in the conclusion to add a better conclusion and add some call to action and whatnot. So that's pretty much it. Now, remember, before we started, I said that I was going to change the title, right? Now, the title is okay, Anatomy of a High Converting Landing Page, but I think it could be better. So my years of experience tells me, plus research that others have done, I know that titles that have some kind of how to do this or X ways of doing this tend to do better and tend to get more clicks. So even though this title is a good one, I know that this blogger is going to talk about high conversion, this blogger is going to talk about landing pages and high converting landing pages. That makes sense. But to make it even better, I was actually already playing around with some different versions of the title. For example, this is the primary title, and this is, by the way, this is a tool that I often use. This is called Headline Studio by CoSchedule. So you can search Google for CoSchedule Headline Studio, and it will come up. Or you can go to the link headlines.coschedule.com, and they have a free version as well as a paid version. I'm using the paid version. I like it better. But you can start off with a free version to see whether you like it or not. Um, so I have enough experience that I don't always need a headline tool to write better headlines, but it does help me fine tune my headlines and kind of compare different types of headlines that I come up with and see which one would do better. So this is the initial headline, Anatomy of a High Converting Landing Page. But then I tried a few others, and look at the scores here. This is a headline score basically based on its structure, and this is an SEO score. The SEO score is only available for Headline Studio Premium plan, so just keep that in mind. But the SEO score kind of shows me what other blog posts or similar posts are out there, how their headline score is doing, etc., etc. And it kind of picks up on keyword that it finds in a title, and it looks at whether it's a good keyword or a bad keyword, easy keyword to rank or hard keyword to rank, etc., etc. So it's a pretty cool tool. I like it. I often fine tweak my titles with the Headline Studio by CoSchedule. So after trying different versions, so one of the versions I tried was the 4 essential parts of a high converting landing page. It improved my headline score. It improved my SEO score by a lot than the original one. And then I tried a couple other ones. Some of them were okay, some of them were not so okay. And essentially, I figured that this was a better balance between headline structure and SEO, the 4 essential parts of a high converting landing page, and then in parentheses with examples. So instead of the title Anatomy of a High Converting Landing Page, I think a better landing page would be this one. The 4 essential parts of a high converting landing page with examples. That's a far better headline in my opinion, and also according to CoSchedule Headline Studio. This has a better chance of performing in search engines and whatnot than Anatomy of a High Converting Landing Page. It was not a bad title, but it was more of a clever title. And I personally always recommend my clients that they opt for clear title as opposed to clever title. So the 4 essential parts of a high converting landing page with examples that correctly describes what we just read in this blog post, in my opinion. And that ends the editing process. Now, not all of it is done. I'm not gonna spend more time in this video, but technically what I will do at this point is I will read through this blog post, my edited version, a couple more times to see if something else needs to be changed, if I missed something, because you almost always never get everything on your first read. You have to read the whole thing a few times to kind of start understanding exactly what's going on, how to better structure a blog post, how to, where to make improvements, where you can add things, where you can subtract things. So once one read through is not enough, I will probably, after I finish this video, I will go ahead and read through the whole blog post a few other times to, um, you know, to make sure that I have added everything. I've covered everything. I may even do some more line edits and copy edits, And just to, because if I have a paid client, I want to give them the best experience possible from me. So I want to try the best I can. But this should give you a good start to your own editing process, whether you're editing for your own blogs, or if you're editing for someone else, if someone is paying you to edit their blog post. This is a good way. This is how you get started, basically. This is how I do it. And so hopefully that gives you a better idea of what it takes to edit a blog post. And that's it for this video. Hopefully you have learned some things. And if you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll try my best to answer them. And I will see you in a different video in the future. Bye.